Hi, good afternoon. It is 1:30. It's actually our second event of the day, so this is quite unusual for us. But we are going ahead with flexible sections in SharePoint, and this is being hosted by Gabrielle. So say hello to Gabrielle for anyone who hasn't met her before.
Hello.
Right. So usual things. This is being recorded, so it will be posted online after this webinar has finished, kind of like downloading. We'll put it onto YouTube and share the link to everybody. And there is also Q&As. If anyone wants to ask any questions, feel free to jump in and ask those questions. Other than that, I think we're pretty much good to get straight into it.
Wow. Okay, amazing. Welcome everyone. Flexible sections. We love, we adore. Who do we have attending? Wait, this is my first time where I'm like not as nervous, so I can actually look. Okay, nice. Right. Okay, well, welcome. I see Dawn there from, okay, Tarita, very nice. I love it. Today we're going to have a look at how we can maximize the use of a flexible section. Now, as always, we cannot do a flexible section, and in my opinion, cannot do SharePoint without a Canva account. So that's the number one thing that y'all need to get ready to, make use and make the most of your flexible section. A Canva account, a premium if possible, because then you get all the latest features and vectorizations and things that you need. You need yourself your brand guide and all of your fabulous company assets, whatever you can get your hands on, because we can really make use of those here in this space. So let's begin. I'm not seeing him here, but we do have today the privilege of actually having a live client demo from a very wonderful company called Travia. It owns Juicy. Everyone knows the Juicy camper van line and potentially Star RVs as well. We're working with them, and I have designed all of their SharePoint pages off of flexible sections, and they've been so kind to let me use their actual live SharePoint for this. So thank you so much. Let's begin. So yeah, flexible sections. I love them. This is new for me as well. I mean, it was only launched, what, last year, Ian? Remind me when flexible sections became a thing? Oh, he's on mute. Was it
Sorry
last
about
year,
that. I
November?
was just muted. Yeah, I can't remember. It's a little while ago.
Yeah,
We
so
started
we've
that.
had the opportunity now to be using flexible sections for a little while. I've only just started really getting into them. I love them. They're dynamic. They make your SharePoint page essentially look far more like a website than a SharePoint page. This is an example of one of my one of my designs, but really, truly, I mean, if we really want to compare, and this is what this is what it's looking like out of the box. I personally know that we can't do this without a Canva account, but there's a few other things that you need to sort of get to know over time. And that's all covered in the first Transform Your SharePoint site from boring to beautiful. So that's part one, this part two, and definitely you make use of this video once you're done watching this one to ensure that you've got all of your colors and everything ready to go. All right, so back to what this SharePoint page looks like out of the box. Now you're going to notice already, it's sort of already looking like a bit of like a hyped up page, and that's because I've used this, all of the demos and tutorials in this, to get my nice colored banner going, to make sure it's all matchy-matchy, and to get my custom font. So we can also upload custom fonts so that it's all ready to go for you. So we'll just start there, that we used this wonderful video to do that. Next up, I want to jump over to our brand guidelines, and Travia's got some really good brand guidelines because you want to know what your hexes are, and that's always going to be found in your brand guidelines. You can see here that we're using a really nice palette that they designed. They also in their HQ had something like this on the wall, and I loved this red, and I really wanted to make use of that pop of red as well. So you're going to see some of that brought to life here as we start to jump into our Canva account. The very first thing you want to do inside of Canva is take whatever brand fonts that you have and upload them to your Canva. Now, you might not be your brand leader inside of Canva, but whoever is, it is so easy to do fonts. Just attach them to an email, send them off, and ask your team to upload those fonts for you. You'll see us starting to use some of those fonts here inside of some of those assets. And then you want to get to work using a project. So this is here on the left-hand side, you'll see project. I've created a folder, and using all of the assets that I could find in their asset section, I've gone ahead and started to build out all these individual elements. So you're already noticing that I've got, some like the option to be able to change to any color under the rainbow. And you might ask, how? How did you do that? Canva makes it so easy. So all you need is a single brand logo. And then from there, you're going to click edit top left, and you're going to scroll down, and you're going to see in your apps in Canva, and you're going to actually vectorize this. So it's as simple as clicking vectorize. Oops, let's go ahead and refresh that page for us. We're going to go ahead and click. Oh, did I already vectorize this? This is a vectorized image. Okay. Well, if you don't have an already vectorized image, you can click vectorize, click binary, and go ahead and vectorize whatever logo that you have. And it will turn it into something where you can literally change it to any color under the sun. And that is going to change your life. Trust me. So that's number one. Number two is you want to start grabbing some elements outside of your Canva elements sort of chooser selector. And so in this case for Travia, I noticed inside of their brand guide that they had some gear icons and things that they were starting to work with. So using that brand guide, you want to start pulling elements from Canva. In this case, you could say gear, right? And start to have a look at, they've got so many graphics, and start to pull sort of base elements that you're going to be able to use and upload. You'll see I've also got circles, that's a big thing. And we've also got this teardrop element, which I really like. And I've got in a whole bunch of different ways here. And you can start building it out. You're going to do that very simply by duplicating your pages, right? And just taking this and then flipping it. Right, that easy, and then moving on kind of thing. So once you start getting all of these elements, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to start building out these pages, because remember, flexible sections, you can start to stack images and you'll be able to layer different stuff. And that's what makes it dynamic, is the ability to layer, something we've never had in SharePoint up until last year, folks. That's why we're here doing this webinar. Okay, so now we've got some of those elements. You'll see that I've started to use it, started to build out some stuff. We'll get to how you can do this in just a moment. But before we do, I want to help you build out some quick link elements. So quick link elements, let's just quickly head back to sort of what our original goal is. Well, I mean, we're not going to build this in 30 minutes, but we're certainly going to build something close. So, right, we've got all these like elements, right, that become clickable web parts. The way you're going to do that is you can actually build your own. You'll notice here that I've just got a number of circles that I've layered. And yes, there is some composition and some visual sort of ability here. So you kind of want to get your most sort of design worthy team member on this task who knows sort of how things look. And then what you'll see here is that little asset, right? That asset that I pulled off of this vectorized image, right? This is just a cropped image from this vectorized logo, right? It's that simple. And then I've changed it to white here in this case. I've also layered it. So layering is very big here. So I'm just bringing that to front, which you can see it already is. And then this is just very simply an element from Canva. So I think I put like trophy or something. Quick tip here. Use your colors to make it really, really simple. Trophy. And now you'll see it. Well, that's the one right there, right? And if you want to just bring that out front, just a reminder here, you can click the 3 dots, layer, and bring to front. So easy. You have just made yourself a beautiful link, web part link. Now, remember, we're using the fonts that we loaded, right? So this one is Poppins. That is your Travia font. And you can go ahead and make that. So one last thing to just note here is I actually have something going on right behind. So if I just change this color, you'll see what I've done quickly. I just like this. I like it when I do my quick links. I like to give it sort of a background. So you'll see here that we've got this, and that's just a square, right? And that's in your elements, in your shapes, a square with a rounded corner. It's very, very easy. I'm going to take that out quickly, bring it back up, and then you're going to go ahead and click share, download, current page, transparent background, download, and that is how you are going to make your individual web parts. Why do that? I don't know, makes it classy, makes it look cool, makes it look like not a SharePoint page, and it's an easy way to start to really bring up that sort of level on that SharePoint page for you. So you can see I've done a whole bunch of really fun ones for them. You'll notice that I have an Employment Hero one, and this is the live Employment Hero logo. If you just search for any kind of logo that you want for any company you're working with, you can download that exact logo from any one of these. So in this case, I think I used this one. click download save, uploaded it here to Canva, to my uploads section. I can't remember when I did that. Oh, there it is right there. And what you're going to do to get this is you're actually just going to use background remover. So that's the same as what I've done here for this guy. It's called background remover. And it's built in. You'll see it's a premium feature. So having that really high end, what is that, $15.99 a month Canva account does make a big difference in helping to make that SharePoint page really come alive. So that's your Employment Hero logo. I went ahead and created it, and you can make it as part of your stack. And then the rest are just a number of other logos. You can see I've done a play on all the Travia logo in various different ways, including on the Microsoft Forms logo here. So it's honestly so much fun. And just get your most design-worthy employee on this, and they'll make it really quite beautiful for you. So that's how you are going to do some of those those quick link web part sort of logos. Now, for background remover on these images, because it's really nice to have some live image assets, I find personally, you are going to take any one of your stock images that you have for your company, and you can use background remover on it. So here I use background remover on that image, and suddenly I have these individuals hanging out here, and I decided I didn't really want them. So all you have to do is click that crop button there, and you can now crop them out. If you can't totally get them out, that is all good. I'm just going to go done on this one. All you need to do is click edit, and you've got this magic eraser feature here, and you can literally erase these humans. We do not want them. And there you have it. It is that easy to use sort of Canva in terms of creating your custom assets. I think I just click X. Perfect. And there you go. I have a custom asset here that is a PNG, totally transparent background. As long as you click share here, download current page, transparent background, download, you've got yourself a live, cool photo asset from your stock library. Do this over and over, and I promise you they'll think that your SharePoint page was like designed by a pro. You can see here that we've done that here as well. And this I used a picture of some people on a trip. These are some of their brands, right? They've got the Star RV line, Juicy, their Chilled brand, and their Getaway Motorhome Sales brand. So I've got that all loaded up for you. You can also, the same way that you vectorize a logo, you can vectorize and turn images of faces into sort of like cool assets as well. So this is Simon Birkenhead, this is the CEO at Travia. And so we wanted to do a latest news from the CEO section, and that's why we did that. Here I can quickly show you. It kind of looks like that in the end, which I really like, and kind of gives it that, again, like high class feel. And then, yeah, you can just take every one of your assets and transform them into something quite cool. And this is really basic, right? If you really think about it, I've given you a teardrop, I've given you a circle, I've given you a gear icon, right? And then I've designed, basically using circles and some elements out of Canva, I've given you a whole bunch of unique links here, and then I've done the background remover and given you some cool stock image photos. So using that, you can transform any SharePoint page into something that looks much closer to a website. 10 out of 10 would recommend. All right, so using all of that, what I do is I go download, and in this case, you can do a mass download of your entire section. I'm not sure what's going on here at the moment, but if you click share, you can download everything as a zip, 1 through 59, and then you can upload that inside of your site. So if we head over to our branch hub where we're going to upload this, all you have to do is click the gear icon, go into site contents. I downloaded the entirety of that entire project. And then, oops, what did I do? And then I go to site assets, site pages, and you'll see all of those icons, all those PNGs have been downloaded here for you, and they're ready to go. So that's a quick tip for anyone looking to do things quite quickly and starting to organize that page. Okay, so now you have everything that you need. We've done some fun stuff. You can also, very quick hot tip, type in make a GIF in Canva in Google. It will open a GIF maker, and I made a GIF using their 4 values slides. You can see that it's moving in the background, but really, truly, I just use transitions here. You just hover and you can use transitions, right? To make it come alive. And then this is just a very quick, you'll see I looked up splash, and the hot tip is just search for animated, and you can literally use any splash element that they have in there. Once you've got that all ready to go and you click download, you're going to not download it as an MP4, you're going to download it as a GIF. And 1 through 6, and that's going to literally bring in a moving image. That allows you to bring in as an image something like this, something dynamic, alive, that helps to turn your page again into something far more professional. Cool. All right, so we've got all of our assets loaded in Branch Hub and we are ready to go. So how do we make use of flexible sections here? Well, the very first thing that you want to do is take out all the other sections. So we're going to go ahead and delete that. I think I've got some assets already loaded, so I'll keep some of those in. I'll keep all those in. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to delete this full width section because I'm not interested. And I'm going to use flexible section. So this is the very first time, again, that we have this as an option. We're going to go ahead and click that. What you're going to notice is we actually have all these other options, and those were always there. The difference between a flexible section and all of these other options is that these only forced you to pin things. You'll notice only news and then events right below it, and there's no opportunity to layer anything at all, including images. This is far more designable in the long term. All right, so the very first thing we want to do is we want to bring in a background. First thing, actually, what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm just going to have my little comparator here. So you'll see I've got this sort of background element here. That's like something fancy. We'll start there. Time 15 minutes. Okay. Go to design here, and we're going to add a background. Okay. This is also a top tip. I hope people follow along because it is worthy of yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I've loaded it all into my site assets, so I don't need to download anything. Okay, I've got my short, my medium, and my tall. I'm going to use my short. Medium, I'll go medium, which is going to bring in that angled element for us to use here. You just give it a minute. It's going to load here in just a moment. Takes a minute to load. Will it load? Live demo, folks. There we go. Cool. So we've got that loaded and ready to go. We'll leave that for a minute. And something that you would have noticed on this site here is we used this really cool element. That's our welcome web part. That's actually it's a custom 365 custom web part, actually. But we use it for any clients that we work with. So welcome to the Branch Hub. That's what we're doing. And then I've also got one of our other web parts that I preloaded. So this, again, is another custom 365 web part. And I'm custom thing that we've created, and I'm going to load that here as well. So already we're starting to look something close to what we want it to look like. So yeah, I did load this. You'll see that we've got the ability to customize the color there. So that's what's going on. All right, so now I want to potentially bring in an image on the right to make it a little bit closer to something like this, but maybe not use Simon's image. Maybe I want to use this one here. That one probably will look pretty good. Okay, that's one of those elements that I made inside of Canva. So let's go ahead and load that up. So you'll see it kind of comes in quite large, and we'll just make that a lot smaller for you. Okay, so there we go. We're starting to build something into something. So now I want to start layering this up to make it look like something that I like. Yeah, well, it's pretty good, don't you think? I think so. So there you go. You've already seen the layer, right? So that is just bring to front, and I've allowed it to layer in front of just a little button custom web part. All right, next up, what do we want to do? Well, we need ourselves a bunch of clickable, right? If I go back, we want a bunch of clickable these, yeah, little quick links. So if I jump in, the way that we load those up is we, oh yeah, I keep going to upload because that's where I go all the time, but I've already added them to my site assets. So I'll jump in there. So let's go ahead and we want to reconcile some credit. Oh, that's right. We have to do it one by one. Okay, that's fine. Oh, no, I don't want that. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Well, okay, let's do that. Insert. So now we're just going to very quickly do this. This is where, Ian, do you want to jump in with a hot tip while I just do a quick upload here?
Hot tip. Okay. Well, one reason why making your SharePoint look great is it actually encourages people to go into your intranet to find things in order to do their jobs. We always get asked, how do we stop people just using documents in File Explorer? And really, it's about building a workspace that people want to go and visit. So the more you can make your SharePoint interactive and appealing for people to go, and if you can make it that people can find and access things quicker than going through File Explorer, then that adds value with SharePoint, and people are more likely to go down that pathway. So then when you start publishing things like news and other resources and company updates and stuff like that, then they're more likely to see it because they're not just working in their own little bubble of File Explorer and things like that. So having a nice SharePoint does make a huge difference. And then the other thing is just around kind of like functionality. We find out of the box functionality of SharePoint is sometimes a little bit kind of like basic. They've got some quite nice lookbooks for inspiration, but actually making it tied into your own brand, it just makes it recognizable and familiar. So imagine joining the company on your first day, and when you're having a look, you can see your SharePoint intranet and you can see all of your company's assets and things like that, and it actually makes it a really good experience from day one, rather than most people just out of the box default. It's not super visually appealing.
That's right. Yeah. All right. So we've got ourselves some quick links here, which I like. I have so much fun doing this, by the way. It's one of my favorite things. Well, it is my favorite. It's my favorite part of my job. And I know that we're doing this now, right? Yeah. We are now selling parts of this. This is like a new thing for clients, correct, Ian? What is this?
Yeah, well, I was going to cover that at the end.
I'm doing a bad job.
But ultimately, like Gabrielle's obviously got some skills when it comes to design and making things look nice. So it is something that if you ever need any help with your own SharePoints, then we can help out with that as well. So Gabrielle can take a look at some of your brand assets to try and bring some of those things in. Just even simple things, just like putting logos in, just some animated GIFs or changing the colors and the fonts, simple things like that, or full asset rebuilds, like she's doing here with Canva.
It's fun. I do enjoy. Yeah, it's a really fun part of my job that I really like. It's just nice to work with clients as well and get them something that they like as well. Like, it's nice to be able to deliver a SharePoint that people are excited to use, or that are like, oh yeah, look at this, or excited to show off, I think, as well. So there's like a lot of ways that you can start to use some of these web parts. So you might already be thinking like, why would I make it so giant? You make it giant because you're going to start to layer on some of these other web parts here. So news is one of those key features that you might want to layer into one of these bubbles. Maybe I want to make this a little bit smaller here. Perfect. So there you go. You might have a news element there that you can kind of make fun. What else do we want to do? Maybe an event section too. But you'll notice that as I'm building this out, like for me personally, Canva is one and the same. Like the two go together. The two are hand in hand. They very much are. They're the same because you need one to do the other. Especially to make use of something where we are starting to really layer some of these elements inside of this space for you. So yeah,
I think it's one of those things. If you've got a design team that are going to create all those assets for you, but most businesses that we know of, Canva just gives you a easy way, it's so cheap and it's so easy to use that you can actually just build it for yourself without having to bring in design teams, and having really complicated assets being created.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so maybe do something compact here. Yeah, that's kind of a vibe. And maybe we actually think about making this a bit bigger. Who knows what we want to do here. But yeah, so starting to bring this in. Now, I don't want to take up too much time, and I already see that we have, 6 minutes left. So, I mean, I'll keep bringing assets in so that you can get an idea of what we're doing in terms of, I keep uploading because that's all I do in my life is upload. But I already have these assets ready to go for you. Let's think of something here that might bring, oh yeah, we could use this. We'll go ahead and copy that in. And it really is just now bringing in those assets and bringing in those pieces at this stage. We can, what else can I really say
what
beyond,
about the
yeah.
GIFs? Did you have any GIFs or
Yeah, that's right. I did have a gift. Thank you for
yeah.
reminding me. Let me find that for you here. Where did I add? Did I add it in here? Oh, there it is right there. Let's add the GIF in. That's right, Ian. That's a good idea. But yeah, so what you'll start to notice is that you've also got these like text elements and things that you can start to layer on. So let's see if I can get this up there. Can I do it? No, not my dictionary. To use my, there we go. So you also have text elements that you can bring in if you decide you want to use, instead of, for example, events, you can always turn off the titles. And then you could, if you wanted to start using something a little bit different, you could do something like that, right? Or just events. Brings another element in. It gives you another option. This is that GIF. So if we wanted to bring that in, it's going to take it just a moment. GIFs take just a little while longer to load than regular images. Bring that in here for you very quickly. So you can see that that's just I mean, it's just such a value add. GIFs are the best. And I really implore you, to really make use of that. If you've got just a search, make a GIF in Canva and give it a try. It's much easier than you think. Yes, we did quick links already. There's people profiles. I mean, we could go on and on about all the different sort of things that you could make use of. But I think at this stage, let's just have a look at some more site assets. It really is just all about designing the page at this point. You can see that we also have like potentially something like that we could bring in. We could bring in that as well. And maybe let's do that really quickly. Start to bring in some of those people elements.
So I think it's interesting to note that obviously at the moment it's a little bit of a limitation in this flexible sections that you have to add the part outside of the flexible section and then put it into the flexible section.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Might seem a little bit strange, but at the moment that's how you have to do it. I'd imagine at some point Microsoft will have an add button inside the flexible section, but just for now, that's the way you have to do it.
Potentially, yeah. And just like I guess like a hot tip. I love a hot tip. A hot tip would be like, when you start to layer different things on top of each other, that's when you start to get a little bit more of that sort of look, that feel, right? That it's something more than just a SharePoint page that's out of the box, that you're starting to really think about, different elements in that way. And really it's using your creativity after that. Yeah. So that's the flexible section space. This will show in just a minute here. Okay, where does that want to live? Where does that want to live? That's the question always. Where do these elements want to live? So this is just, yeah, an example of how you're going to start to build this out. I typically take a little bit more time to kind of come up with composition. And it's something important for you to note is you want to start looking. I kind of did I load something? I did. I think I loaded like a LinkedIn, did I? Because sometimes I take inspiration from LinkedIn, or I take inspiration from, like, I follow a lot of design companies on LinkedIn, or marketing companies, and you can start to take inspiration as to how you can put together a page based on what they're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and publish, and I'll just do a quick show through of, like, in this case with Travia, sort of this is already pre-designed, thought through, right? But you'll notice we also have some other sort of parts as well, like the latest from the CEO, where we're keeping that branding and we're keeping that same idea, and we're sort of building it through. We've also done their operations page as well, where we've brought in those elements, and so they can be used over and over again. I knew that would happen. I knew that would happen, but luckily we're right at time. Luckily, yeah, you can use those same themes, those same ideas, where you're producing it across multiple pages, so that you have that same sort of feel across many of your sites, and it can be done creatively every single time. But definitely, I pull a lot of my inspiration from other design companies, just to see how, like, for example, photography companies or interior design companies as well, to see how they're doing just layouts on things like LinkedIn. Yeah, and then from there, I will sometimes design pages just based on what I see in the world and get inspired. So I encourage you all to do the same.
Yeah, brilliant. Awesome. Thank you very much, Gabrielle. And yeah, I just can't overemphasize, adding some design elements just makes it pop and makes it shine, and it shows people that you care about them through the intranet. So I think it's really cool. And so hopefully we'll get some more case studies that we can demonstrate and show as well, because it's always nice to show off some of our client projects.
Yes, and thank you, Travia, as well. And yeah, I can see it. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Right, next up we have in 6 weeks' time, so that's Wednesday the 10th of December. So we're going to talk about Copilot updates because there's so many things changing in that Copilot space. We just had a Copilot breakfast this morning, which went really well. But again, even in a few weeks' time, that's going to have evolved even more. So yeah, we've got 1:30 till 2 p.m. So same time in 6 weeks' time, 10th of December. That'll be the last one of the year. And then we'll start filling up our agenda and schedules for next year. So if you've got any ideas, we'll, fire them through. Otherwise, that will be starting off again February next year. So yeah, that's us. I'll stick around if there's any questions. I see there's some thanks coming through, but let's have a look at some Q&As. Is there a way to change the font text colors of the elements? So let's say the news section, the background has color, the text will be hard to read. Yeah.
Wait, can you? No, you can't.
So yeah, but that inherits the theme's fonts, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It does. Yeah, actually, let's do a quick, I mean, can we stay on, Ian? It's okay.
Yeah, sure. If people are happy to stay on. So first off, you saw how Gabrielle removed the news title. So she took that out. Was it news or events? I think you took out the events title actually. And then you can add your own text block back in again. So those text blocks, you have more control over the text. So so we typically turn off the title and add our own titles back in again. That's how we handle that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, let's see if it'll send it through to my authenticator. But that's right. Yeah. So you can do that just by jumping in and taking out the title. I'm gonna find there we go. 33. Yeah, you can jump in and do that sort of by changing this out. So you'll notice I've done that a few times here. So if I go to edit the page here, so this one here is live, so that'll be the live title here. And this one here is fake. They sort of look the same. So you can then jump in and edit this way. So if you wanted that to become like yellow, you could do that. Not that we would want that, but you can do it that way. So just in this case, you would turn off the title here, and then you would throw maybe like this element. You would duplicate that element. And bring it in up here, a knowledge base. So yeah, you've got a lot of options here to do that in terms of alignment as well. Knowledge base. So there's that as an option. So you can see it looks pretty similar. You have that as an option, number one. And then if I'm really thinking about it though, I'm just gonna undo that because this is actually a live page. I'm thinking in terms of what I've done in the past. You can't technically do any font color changes because that's controlled by SharePoint. So if I head here and I go to change the look, I can only select the font, but I can't actually change the color of the font. That's something that SharePoint chooses. But you'll notice I'm already starting to like play around a little bit with that. Like you can see this is actually a logo that I've updated and allowed like this color change here. And then these are all my own creations. So if I wanted this to be yellow, I could make that update. And then, yeah, like we showed you, like this obviously is something I've written out myself here. So I could change that there. But you can see it looks exactly the same, right? So it's okay. Like we encourage you to turn off the title and add your own using flexible.
Yeah, so it's like a hybrid between, you have to create things in Canva. So where you've got those little icons, if you were going to put them over the orange background, you would then have to go into Canva and create the orange background, and then you'd probably have a white circle instead of an orange circle. So you have a reverse color system for everything, so that then you'll know, and that's what when you do the planning, you need to know whether you're putting it on the primary color or the secondary color or a white background and things like that. So it's that white square with the corners. You'd have to change that color, wouldn't you, if you're going to put it on a different background?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. But for the most part, it does control itself. Like I've noticed, like, okay, like, so you like notice this here, company events looks like that. But the minute you bring it up, it will change color based on the background as well. Like, so you will see that shift and change based on where you put it. It's just a matter of, yeah, like, yeah, sort of seeing where it goes and, yeah, giving it a try, playing around. The biggest thing that you could do for yourself would be to play around and really get to know how SharePoint is reacting to you, because it is hard to know, like, time to time, like how it's going to react at times. Like it is still its own system. And even though flexible web sections, they're new. And so I definitely see it sometimes do different stuff that I'd never even expected.
And then also shout out to that welcome web part, because that's something that gets asked all the time, is how do I put somebody's name on the homepage like welcome Gabrielle? So yeah, that's
this is our custom creation.
Reach out to us if you want to add that to your intranet.
And this is also one of our custom creations. Why is this unique? There is a button web part. This is unique because we can control the color and we can control all of like the look and feel of it. So that's also something that I definitely make use of as well. Just gives me more control over colors and stuff. And as you can see, I'm tried to match with Travia today. Nice.
Okay. Well, thanks very much. I think that's awesome. And yeah, looking to see more in the future about that and design principles. Yeah, it's only going to get better. So thanks to everyone for joining. And I think that we'll wrap that up, and I'll send out the recording to everybody in the next day or two. So as soon as we get it up into YouTube's, we'll send that out. Thanks very much, Gabrielle.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Bye.